More Houston Morning News with Matt Patrick now.
KTRH News Time is 6:47. And joining me right now, two of my favorites, Byron Schirmbeck, Director of Citizens for Safer Streets, State Senator John Whitmire, who I always enjoy having on the program. Gentlemen, welcome back to Houston's Morning News.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Good morning. It's great to have you both. All right, this is my favorite story of the morning because it speaks to exactly what I continue to preach and preach and preach, and that is the lies, many times, of our legislature, of our government. I mean, no disrespect to you, State Senator. When it comes to trying to get these boondoggles like red light cameras passed in certain cities. Money was supposed to be earmarked for trauma centers, State Senator Whitmire, yet we find out that Austin will not be sending this, $4.1 million to trauma centers because we're trying to balance the budget. So it was nothing but a great big lie.
It's absolutely a wrong practice, and I could cite you several more examples if we had the time. The surcharge that we apply toward DWIs at the end of the year is supposed to go for trauma care, and it's never been given to trauma care. Crime Victims Compensation Fund that we charge defendants at the courthouse does not go to crime victims. Often it goes to other services. So it's a practice that points out how broken the state finances are, and the legislature results to depends on smoke and mirrors to balance their budget. But nothing you said is incorrect. I agree with you totally.
Byron, you of course petitioned to get the cameras removed from Baytown, and I'm sure that this is kind of vindication for you. You said it all along. You said, look, it's nothing more than a money grab, and indeed that's what happened.
Yeah, actually, I'm just starting to lose track of all the lies right now. First of all, we were told this was all for safety. It's going to reduce accidents, and then we see accidents go up. Then we were told nobody will vote against the cameras. Everybody loves them. Then everywhere we can point to, cameras have been voted out. And now we were told that all this money is going back to the trauma centers. And there's still cities out there in the camera companies still preaching that to cities and citizens, telling them that this is going to come back to them in the way of a trauma center fund. But I think this points to the bigger problem, or actually tells us why the Senate has blocked the statewide camera ban. And I'm glad that I can finally sit here and talk to Senator Whitmire, too. He's actually my senator. And we've been trying to have a sit-down with him for over a year to find out why the Senate keeps blocking a statewide camera ban.
All right, well, let's do this. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back, and I'll let Senator Whitmire answer your question as to why they are blocking that camera ban. KTRH News Time is 6:53. All right, let's get down to business here. State Senator John Whitmire joining us, along with Byron Schirmbeck, who is the Director of Citizens for Safer Streets. We're talking about the money from the red light cameras that will not go to trauma centers. Senator, I want to give you an opportunity to respond to Mr. Schirmbeck about why the state legislature seems to be blocking the bans on red light cameras.
The legislature will pass or defeat, depending on the lack of support or support for why we didn't do a statewide ban. And I'd say we, the majority of the legislature, they felt like it was a local matter. I don't know why Byron's complaining. He outlawed them in Baytown. They've been outlawed in Houston. So I think the system's working. Some communities want them. But the point this morning is, if you're going to tell people half of the revenue goes to trauma care, that's where it ought to go. This is not a debate on for or against red light cameras. That's been determined. Whether the legislature wants to outlaw them statewide is something you have to lobby for and try to persuade a majority. We felt like local control works best, and normally it does. So in this instance, Houston, Baytown spoke. Pasadena may want them if a majority of their citizens support it.
All right.
But it ought to be truth in advertisement. If you're going to say you raise money for any purpose, it'd be like taking the Houston drainage fee and using it for trauma care. It ought to be for what you ask the public for the funds for.
Byron, does that satisfy you?
Well, if you want to say it's a local issue, it really isn't. Why should we allow local cities who actually don't go to the citizens first to vote the cameras in and say it's up to the citizens to fight to get the cameras out, when the camera companies, as you've seen, will spend hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars to harass petition organizers and actually get our elections thrown out.
And you know what, I have to, and Byron, I appreciate your thoughts, and I agree with the senator. The discussion today is, if you are going to earmark the money, if the cameras have been put in there and you earmark the money for trauma centers, then that's where it should go. Hey, we'll continue this discussion. Byron Schirmbeck and State Senator John Whitmire, always a pleasure to have you both on the show, and we're going to drill down into this discussion even further. This is a travesty.